Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Blind. The main quest continues. The reason. Royale. There's a coffer. I'm level 110. That's something, I guess. Kind of just keep on getting these level 130 ones from the shop there. Suppose if we use up all of our tokens here for that, we would need something else. So 110's alright. Also, we need to make sure we don't overrun the 2000 here. That'd be unfortunate. But I don't think we can... Did we manage to purchase something for a class that didn't exist? Did we not have 50 yet? I think we did. We'd be in the weapons category. What's this? Thermometer 70. Yeah, here is the Lancer 130, so we can keep just buying all the 130s. That's fine. So yeah, 110, and especially in here we have a 70 and 90. That's a little bit unneeded. That's alright. Back to the other problem we're having here. Finish things up. Or something. I need to scour the annals for more knowledge of Midgardzomer. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Did you hear that? The commotion outside. Did you see if aught is amiss? Oh, what is happening now? Off and on. Back to the main room of the Rising Stones. I got a report. Arctic, 'tis well that you are on hand. We have a problem. Riley has escaped. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. To his plane, she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Riley quitting the city via the Gate of Nald with a bloodied spear in hand. She makes for Castrum Meridianum. Yeah. I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and the First are hot upon Riley's heels. Pray, make haste to Camp Blue Fog and join the hunt. Yeah. I highly doubt that they are going to care about that. No need to keep a useless spy around. Served her purpose. Who would have guessed? Okay. Yep. We're right over here. Hilbert. How's it going? Thanks for coming, Scion. I was welcome with the soldiers here. They say that Ryan walked through the camp not a bell ago. As she walked right through, you did not mishear. We have Ramon's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her, and so here we are. Rael must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridianum. Yeah. It's definitely a system here. Processing plant. Teleport. Whee! Alright. And if they do get to the place, we can just raise the whole thing to the ground again. Go in there. Win. You betcha. What have we here? Yes. Duty calls. Commence for battle. Who's morale? Level 5, level 50. Yep. We got a fight on our hands here. Let's get it. Let's get it. This wretch was with Ryle. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own. Constant harpy. With me assigned, we almost have her. And we got some friends. Duty. Commence. Look at all these guys. One alive, kill the rest. 4 AOs here. You got it. Not taking it so easily this time. AoEs. There are enough people here for an AoE. You. Clean the razor. I mean reinforcements. Look sharp, man. And blast some reinforcements. Oh, a death ball game. Wow. I can't move. Defeat them. More reinforcements? They really aren't paying enough. And healers, kill them first. This pile of guys. And everybody else. It's just one Colossus. It's fine. How you doing over there, Ilbert? Doing fine? You're doing fine. Being hit by that. No more guys. That's not loud. Hey, more. That's your thing. Hey, more guys. My goodness. A lot of guys here. My goodness. Interrupted. Interrupted. And that. Some Doman team too. That's great. And lastly, Ellen. Quite the force they sent. Apparently, maybe they do care. Not enough. Bind her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, Ben. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. Saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You, a small little lordling, who has never known any want. Aye. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-born Ishgardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to do to survive. Stealing, killing, even by myself, is no fault of mine if fools imagine me a paragon when I joined the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you've forgotten, Raban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand we had been dealt, and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth. 'Tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. Whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it's that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You return to Ul'dah to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. And try not to let her escape again. That'd be great. Alright. Not so much of a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that this sword business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we can have chosen our allies more wisely than Raban chose his. And complete.
I've heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
That's not ominous at all. My goodness. Quest complete. Next quest. Let us cooling together. Often I would ask another favor of you. Oh boy, 7,000 gil. Captain Ilber and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Raban, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. Ah, but I have one last task for you. Turn to the Rising Stones and appraise Memphilia of all that has happened. Aware that the antecedent held Rally in high regards. For better or worse, she'll want to know how this tale ends. Yeah. Memphilia. Revenant Stone. Available. Okay. Yeah. That's another problem. Probably solved for now. Unless she breaks out again. But yeah. We still have the other issue in Ul'dah. Politics. Sigh. Anyways. Almost easier. Just go beat down some near godlike creature. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. Okay. Entrance to the Soldier. That's where we're going. Can confirm. Yep.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent.
Huayu? What?
I know not what to
Huayu?
say. Together with Robon, Aline lent us much needed aid at the time of our order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
And that. That's also another of our problems. And the products.
My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white orosite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the orosite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Charlian motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
That is also another problem we're having. It's all tied together, though. The Ascians. The Ascians are also messing with getting more primal stuff happening, so all comes back to them. All comes back to them. Quest complete.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the Media Project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Osgalvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
7 hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! Daeum, purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
Alright. Alright.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
Definitely a plan. Doing something. Clearly we need to do something. Achievement unlocked. Dreams of Ice. Deleting the main scenario quest up to this one. Reward. Icebreaker. Neat. Okay. And then the next quest. Responsibilities demands attention. Everything we need to do. We continue. Next time. Goodbye.